and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela. They let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze. An afternoon high around 80. Tonight, showers and storms turning to rain and snow. It'll be windy with a low around 31. And tomorrow, we'll see snow and blizzard conditions likely. An afternoon high of just 39. A meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting lincolnteammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Be sure to check out the top-selling Recomp. Recomp helps build lean muscle and strength while decreasing body fat. Recomp is ideal for men and women of all ages trying to look their best. Recomp can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People Seeding Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown! 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, welcome in. Del Punt Hour, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got the host, as always, DeMornay Pierson-El, joining us on the Allo VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. If you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685. We're going to be talking a lot of college hoops here, and if we got time for it, maybe even a little bit of Husker football as well. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and bring him in. DeMornay Pierson-El, how's it going on a beautiful Tuesday night right before our, second winter of the year?
It's going as good as you can, preparing for a blizzard.
Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't even realize it was going to be that bad, but shout out for everybody who didn't know about it. It's like 3 to 7 inches, at least around this area is kind of what I'm seeing. So we're not quite out of the woods yet, but we are at least into officially March Madness. They got the first four going on right now. Let me double check who's even playing in this one. So currently you got Alabama State and St. Francis, Pennsylvania, 44-50. St. Francis leading it right now. So it's officially tipped off here. And with that being said, I'd love for you guys, the listeners, to go ahead and drop your brackets. You guys can join us. Make sure you join 93.7 The Tickets Bracket Challenge on ESPN's Tournament Challenge app. Join the group by going to 93.7 The Tickets Twitter page and clicking on the link. The tweet with the link is pinned at the top of the page, so really easy to find out there. It's completely free, and the top brackets will win prizes from the ticket. So fill out your bracket today before Thursday's tip-off. First game is 11:15 a.m. So again, you got till Thursday, 11:15 a.m. Totally free to enter. You get a ton of people you can compare yourselves. DeMornay Pierson-El, how are you when it comes to filling out these March Madness brackets?
I suck. I suck. I think people play better or should play better than what they are expected, and they show up looking like Tarzan and play like Jane. So I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, don't worry. I won't judge it. The people who do the best at this are, ironically, just the people who don't watch any college basketball. Anybody who's had a family knows that the little brother or little sister that does not watch an ounce, or maybe even the mom, they usually do a lot better than you might anticipate. And I don't know if there's a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it. We'll talk about it. There is some stats to go along with it, but it's called March Madness for a reason. But Nebraska's not playing in March Madness this year. They're playing in the college basketball crown. I want to get your just original thoughts on that. It's different postseason for sure. It's not the NIT. It's obviously not March Madness bracket. But what are your thoughts on that? Those guys having an opportunity to go play in that Vegas tournament, the college basketball crown.
For some guys that'll be, this is their last time or last tournament, putting on their jersey and representing the end. It's fine and dandy for them because, you're a step closer to chasing your dreams, but, you got one more opportunity to, go out there with your brothers and perform.
Yeah, and it's so it's a little bit different. Obviously, you're not playing with 64 teams. It's just going to be the 16 teams that are invited to that one. And one thing that's really interesting is it's a bunch of schools that are okay basketball programs, but a bunch of schools that have tremendously struggled to just be consistent outside of a couple. You do see teams like Gonzaga in there who, for the most part, has been pretty consistent, but these past few years in particular, maybe not the strength that they used to be. But Nebraska's got Arizona State, and they got them on March 31st. And the winner of this, I believe it's $300,000. I don't know, what that number really means. Apparently, just looking at some of the stuff, Iowa, who was quote unquote one of the lower bidders in terms of paying players for NIL, that's kind of about the number for like the low tier guys, which is kind of hard to believe. But I guess when you're looking at those sports like football and you're giving multiple guys, hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe $300,000 isn't that much. But thoughts on that? Like, is that enough to pull players and make it worth their while? Is that extra $300,000 worth of NIL?
I mean, I think so.
I should figure out how it gets distributed real quick, just to make sure. If it goes straight back to the university, it's a little different.
I mean, Crumble money spends too. So, I mean, at some point in time, it's going to be some type of extra money in their pockets. So, I mean, why not?
Yeah, And, it's just an opportunity to go out there and have some sort of relevancy. And I'll be honest, if I was playing and I didn't make March Madness, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I think that'd be the better one to go to. It's a lot shorter, but at the same time, you're in Vegas. You're pretty much just at one location, going to a few different arenas, and it's pretty good competition. Like, it's not like the competition is any worse or better than the NIT. You might even be able to say it's a little bit better, but just thoughts on, if you had to pick, if you were at the University of Nebraska for basketball as opposed to football, which one's the tournament you'd want to be in if you could not make the March Madness?
Definitely the one in Vegas for sure.
Yeah, it seems like a really easy answer. And the matchups are fun. I will say that. We get Arizona State the first one, and we'll dive into that. I really want to figure out so the prize fund of $500,000 for the college basketball crowns. Maybe it's more than I thought. Without wasting time live on air here, while I try to figure out what's the total prize they all get. Let's just go ahead and dive into the matchup. So they do get Arizona State, and if they win that one, they either get Georgetown or Washington State. You're probably looking at Butler maybe to be a favorite on our side of things, and then you got Villanova on the other. How important is it? Does it move the needle at all to say, if Nebraska goes ahead and wins this, because you look at the competition, there's a few teams that maybe be a little bit better, but not by wide margins. Does this move the needle in terms of just pulling people to the University of Nebraska, even though it's not one of the other tournaments we mentioned?
I wouldn't say necessarily pull people to Nebraska, but it's something that's going to be on TV. It's going to give Nebraska at least some type of exposure. A chance to be out there, a chance to be seen. You're competing against some very good, as you said, basketball schools. I think Butler's in it, Georgetown's in it, Villanova's in it, SC's in it. So I mean, we've seen them. I think is that Seton Hall? I think I'm not too sure. So I mean, you have good competition. And GW's in there, so you have good competition. And going into next year, you at least kind of have a last screenshot of what your players can do for next year. So I think that's always a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Seton Hall, I'm pretty sure they are in that one. And looking at just these teams, I'll be honest, Nebraska really has to win this upcoming game. I didn't realize Arizona State's record really struggling this year, even more so than I thought. If I can pull it back up here, right now their current record is 13-19, 4-16 in Big 12 play. On top of that, they have just really struggled. I'd say their best win was they do have a win versus West Virginia when they were number 23 at the time. It seems like a should-win game, but where do you think the confidence level of this Nebraska team's at?
Hopefully, this will be a chance to bring it back high. I'm pretty sure, they're disappointed. They're kicking themselves, 5 straight losses to end the season, and pretty much, you held the destiny of your future, and it kind of just, slipped away from you. So I wouldn't say it's high. It's more so probably pissed off and irritated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you're going to lose a bunch of guys, so you might as well go out there and play pissed off. At this point, there's nothing left to lose out there. And you got a bad, just a bad record-wise Arizona State team coming in who doesn't have a whole lot left to play for either than trying to make a little bit of money by go ahead and making it all the way to the finish and winning it. But the games in that one, just real quick, we'll go through them. We won't dive into a ton of detail. As like I said, none of these teams are going to be absolute juggernauts. On the left side, you do get to watch Utah, Butler, George Washington, and Boise State. On that one, then obviously Nebraska, Arizona State, Georgetown versus Washington State. And then on the right side of the bracket, it's DePaul versus Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Yeah, DePaul, not Seton Hall. Oregon State
that's
versus
who it is.
Well, I'll be honest, the bracket you're looking at, they don't put a whole lot of information on there. It's not like really seeded. It's just like they pick the teams, they slap them. It's not really ranked out. It's just everyone's going to have the same opportunity. And then while I'm reading these names here, Colorado versus Villanova, Tulane versus USC. It's just like a bunch of programs that are good but have not found any sort of basketball consistency, at least not in probably like the past 5 years. Because outside of probably Georgetown, a lot of these teams kind of feel like they've been in the same shoes Nebraska's been in. Like even a team like Cincinnati, who, they'll have some really good years, but then they'll just fall right off the wagon again. Double check on the record here, but I want to say even in conference play, it was pretty woeful for them this year. Yeah. So again, like very similar to Nebraska, you're 8-15, pretty solid, but conference play, you're 7-13. Arizona State, already talked about those guys, but USC, same thing, 16-17 conference play, 7-13. Villanova, even this year, who's another team who's probably in a little bit different boat than Nebraska because they predicate so much on basketball. I think they'll be able to allocate a decent amount of NIL funds there. But 19-14 winning record, an 11-9 conference record, still winning conference record, but just not as good as they're used to in the past. Oregon State just barely above 500. You're just seeing a lot of similarities. The best record in here is probably Boise State with 24-10 record, 14-6. But again, you're playing in the Mountain West Conference. I'm not sure how to feel, about this if they win it. Like, obviously, you're going forward and you're looking for them to hopefully win it. To me, the only curiosity is you see a team like Northwestern choose not to play in postseason play. If they were, they'd probably be in this tournament with Nebraska. I'm a fan of Fred Hoiberg and the staff choosing to go ahead and do this tournament. But why do you think a school like Northwestern wouldn't want to?
I mean, you don't know if, a lot of their players either, are transferring, entering the transfer portal, and they don't necessarily have enough because, that necessarily didn't come out. You don't know if the team made the decision that if, it wasn't, March Madness and the NCAA tournament, that was, preset team rules type situation. Or you don't know if just a lot of people are, leaving to the draft. So I mean, it could be a number of things. It could be,
real quick. He does say injury is a big one for him. Is just giving the guys a break.
Yeah, I mean, a coach knows his team, and he understands. If you can't put the best product out there, then is maybe for your best interest, and not just go out there and embarrass yourself with or look bad or have a bad showing. You have a lot of alumni mad. You have you're giving a reason for, the AD to potentially, hang you out to dry if you don't do well. So, yeah. It's other motivating factors that could contribute to them not, participating.
Yeah, it's a good point. Especially if your guys are banged up. I was kind of in the camp, like, I get it, Northwestern, but I think you got enough guys to go out there and play. But at the same time, coaches don't, get the longest leashes, especially in the basketball world. So if you're Northwestern, especially if you think the only thing you're going to be able to do there is risk a bunch of injuries and possibly show up with a really bad product, then I can see why you might want to duck out. Nebraska, it's a good thing they are going because I don't, obviously they don't have the injury excuse to point to. Just about everybody's healthy. They just didn't end the year very well. So at least it's an opportunity for them to change that around. But that's pretty much all I got on the college basketball crown. I'm intrigued by it. It's definitely interesting outside of the NIT. Now you have the college basketball crown on top of March Madness. It's a lot of basketball to watch. But that one, again, that's going to be March 31st. Nebraska's going to have an opportunity to play a little postseason play here. I do want to talk about the March Madness bracket, but first we got to talk about just one of the best stories. Not the best story, just one of the best coaches in college basketball. Rick Pitino is just an absolute monster when it comes to coaching basketball. Pierson-El. He's already got St. John's. I believe they're number 2 seed in this year's March Madness bracket. St. John's with a record of 30-4. Win percentage of 88%. And again, like I said, that's just the second year there. The first year they went 20-13. And everywhere he goes, the guy just wins over and over. Obviously, a little bit of controversy. The only reason why things got shooken up for him. But he is just an incredible coach. And I understand Nebraska couldn't probably hire him in that 2018 year. But that's 2017 was that last year at Louisville. Obviously, everyone remembers it. Probably don't need to get into the details. But that was always going to be a guy you knew got the job done. It was just like Iona obviously took him 2020, knowing with some of the political stuff's probably cooled off enough. But just thoughts on Rick Pitino being able to be just this dominant coach throughout his entire tenure. I mean, you're going to have a hard time finding a stop with just more than 10 losses.
I mean, everywhere he's went, he's been dominant. Everywhere he's went, he's changed things around and he's brought in, and people and whatnot. And, he had his, situations and, his slippage or whatnot. But, I mean, it didn't take him long to kind of get back there or whatnot. He has, that team playing well. People are excited to see them. He has them believing. I mean, and you got, the state, you got a whole playground where you can choose on both sides of, New York or New Jersey to go get any type of, baller that you can. So, it's good to see him, land back on his feet and kind of be back in the mix of things because, people kind of shun him and threw cast him aside.
Yeah, and it's just like one of those things where, like when you have some of those great coaches, and especially like, the guy can coach. His record is just, it's pretty unbelievable. Boston University, all the way back in the day, 91-51 by the time he left. Providence, his worst stop, arguably 42-23 when he left. Kentucky, 219-50. Louisville, 416 wins, 143 losses. Iona, 64 wins, 22 losses. I'm just year 2 already at St. John's, 50 wins and 17 losses. Like, it just doesn't take very long for this guy at all to start picking things up. And even in Iona, that strength of schedule was absolutely brutal for that school based on the recruits they had, and it got better towards the end there. But you just give, a ton of credit, and they do got that number 2 seed locked up already. That being said, who are the best coaches heading into March Madness this year? Because we're in a different era, no more Coach K. Obviously, the UNC coach is gone as well. It's not, raw like it was last year, but it is a different era.
The best coaches, that's tough.
I'll slide Tom Izzo in there because I do think he's certainly one of the best coaches.
He is.
Still.
I mean, I don't know if the roster's good enough. No, I just don't. I think he's just kind of, him not being in the SEC is kind of hurting him of getting certain caliber players. If he was in the SEC on any team, I guarantee you, he would have a juggernaut with anybody. Wow, best coach. Florida's coach has been strong this year just because of, how dominant they have been. Excuse me. That is hard. That is not an easy choice. That is not an easy choice at all.
Florida's a good one because, I don't really know a ton about Golden other than they got a hell of a ball club this year. So he's certainly up there. When I look at it, that's why I brought that up. He's just been incredible this year. You can even go like Maryland's coach. I think that for them to get the 4 seed this year, they've really overachieved. And
it's hard not to say UConn's coach. You could say whatever you want to say about UConn's coaches, his antics or whatnot. But that's 3 years, in a row that you've lost some players and you kind of fought your way back into it. Their record is. I just had it. Their record is, 23-10. That's not easy. That's a good record.
Well, they had to battle just a ton of adversity too. And anytime you get like a team that's just constantly feeling like they're getting sucker punched and just like loss after loss, like it takes a good coach to steer the ship through that adversity.
And I know I might get some flack for this one, but Creighton's coach, he's been dialed in too. They lost, in their conference championship. Much deserving to the team that they played. But I would say after we beat them and whatnot, they've been on a destructive path. So he's up there for that.
I'll take another easy one just because anytime you can have a defense this good all the time, you look at Houston, they're pretty much doing what they did last year. Not as dominant, but give me Calvin Sampson, the head coach for Houston. Their defense is just incredible. I think it's like top 3 again this year.
Yeah, I like what he's been doing at Houston. He has that team playing. He has that city behind him. That's a good team to watch. That's a very good one.
Let me ask you this one, because this guy's intriguing. Dan Hurley. Is this the year we find out he is that guy? He is that good coach, or does he get exposed a little bit? Let me double check here. UConn is currently, after going back to back, UConn 23-10 this year, 8 seed. They got to play number 9 Oklahoma. Oklahoma 20-13, and like I said, UConn 23-10. Could be the year where the UConn takes that first loss exit. And we see what Dan Hurley looks like after a tough loss.
But things haven't been, clicking as what we've seen them. But again, the players on that team have kind of been in that situation, So I mean, 23-10, that's not a bad record. So I'm not. They could. Anybody could lose, the first round. So I'm just going off of them being there, them being consistent. I don't think so. I like that coach. That coach is a psychopath. I like him.
Yeah, I'm the one team I'm, to be honest, like I thought, don't get me wrong. I don't watch a ton of this team throughout the season. McNeese State, though, I noticed this is year 2 where they're in the tournament and like people are legitimately a little bit scared about them. There's something about McNeese State that's cooking this year. Not as impressive as last year, but still a really good record, 27-6. They play Clemson. Clemson also 27-6. And we got to talk about these SEC teams as well, because SEC, 14 teams in there, 13 SEC teams got bids, which is just absolutely insane. So when you're making these brackets, you're going to see a ton of SEC teams. Yeah, there's 14 of them. Obviously, one got the conference bid. 13 others just got the straight bid based on their strength of schedule and the wins they had. But McNeese State, I'll tease it at that before we go to break. That's one of those teams I'm circling for the quote-unquote surprise teams, just because that's year 2 now where they're building something. I don't know when they're going to break through. I'm not saying it's going to be like a St. Peter's Peacocks year, but there's a chance they could pull the crazy upset this year. Give me yours, and then we'll throw it to our first break.
McNeese have definitely pulled some things off and shot some people. It's some talented people down in, Louisiana. So, again, if you're hitting on all cylinders, a tough team to play, and you kind of got that following and things have been hitting, you might want to watch out. So I can see why McNeese it has the following and has kind of been scaring people the way that they have.
Yeah, and that's Will Wade is the head coach there. I want to make sure I got that right. And I'm trying to figure out like where their success really comes from. I mean, it's just a really good head coach, I think, running that program over there. Because like I said, that's year 2 now. And we'll throw it to break here, but I want to go, when we get to the other side, I'll give a little bit of the background of last year, what those guys did. And then we'll talk about some more of these underdogs. We'll even talk about, which seeds are happen to be the most commonly upset ones, as we've got, plenty of data from back in the 80s, I think at this point, or 90s. Well, we'll do that all next. We'll talk some more college hoops here. Don't go anywhere. Dylan Punt Hour with DeMornay Pierson-El.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Koppel also has over 10,500 off list on new select models. So please stop on by and see what confident driving and confident buying is all about. We're right down 144th Street or online at koppelcars.com. All deals with the roof credit, 0% is standalone.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
It may not feel like it, but planting season is on its way, and now's the time to upgrade your equipment with a late model John Deere planter from Acres Equipment. Acres has an entire lineup of John Deere planters equipped with the latest technology to ensure planting accuracy throughout your field. And to get you up and going, each planter purchase from Acres includes in-field startup support from one of our Precision Ag professionals. Warmer weather is coming soon, so don't delay. Visit your local Acres for details. Offer expires April 30th, 2025.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze. An afternoon high around 80. Tonight, showers and storms turning to rain and snow. It'll be windy with a low around 31. And tomorrow, we'll see snow and blizzard conditions likely. An afternoon high of just 39. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Don't Punt Hour. Here's the rounds on the ones and twos. We got DeMornay Pierson-El joining us on the Allo VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service. With a local heart. Good morning, Pierson-El. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the Cinderellas here. And real quick, just to talk about McNeese State a little bit more and how impressive this team's been. This is a school that, since playing basketball at the D1 level, all the way back in 1972-73, all the way up until the year 2023, they had only been to the NCAA tournament twice. First round, all the way back in 87-88 season, and then they made it back in the 2001-2002 season, and now 2023, Will Wade takes over. They make to the first round, they lose. Next year, 24-25 season, they'll be playing in that first round again. So there's the kind of story on. I want to mention good coaches. Will Wade, you almost have to be one to be able to flip a school around that fast. And even in that year one, they were 17-1 in conference play. And this year they're 19-1 in conference play. They actually had a better record last year at 30-4. This is a tougher year, but they also had some injuries to certainly add up to that. So despite me just highlighting McNeese State, I do think Clemson, unfortunately, is going to win that one just due to some of the injuries. I don't think that team's going to be quite in full strength. And even though they're winning games, the spread's been pretty close despite that conference. Good morning, Pierson-El. Give me a Cinderella team that you're telling people to watch out for.
Ooh, Cinderella team. Would St. John's be a Cinderella team, or just because they're ranked high, that's a no? Like,
when I think of Cinderella, yeah, if you're a 2 seed,
people that's not supposed to be there, that's there. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, because for reference, if you pick anything, an 8 seed is kind of that cutoff. Because here's a little bit trivia. See if you.
What about VCU? What about VCU then?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There has only been one 8 seed. That's the lowest seed that's ever won the championship, and that was back in the 80s. That was Villanova. So anything 8 lower, you're calling for something crazy there. So VCU, what are they ranked? 11?
Yeah, 11. Yeah.
Yeah, VCU would be a good one, and I think VCU's strength is just really scrappy defense. The defense travels, so I don't necessarily hate that one. Those guys force a lot of turnovers. That's kind of the makeup of what they do. I'm looking for them. Who's their first game?
First game is BYU.
That can work out. It depends who's going to win that battle of pace. That is the ultimate pacemaker's game. In the morning, I know you didn't go to college to play basketball. What's harder to do? To impose your force and slow it down, or to impose your force and speed it up? Because BYU is going to be trying to run. VCU is going to be trying to slow it down. Who's going to win that battle?
I think imposing your will to slow things down. Because once the bleeding starts, it's hard to stop it. If you're a run and gun type team and you kind of get in your rhythm, panic can kind of set in. And, mistakes can kind of happen. And before you know it, in the blink of an eye, you done went on a 9-point, 11-point, 13-point, run to 2 or whatever points it is or whatnot. So I think slowing it down is a lot harder.
I think you're right. Because once there is a little bit of panic that sets in, especially when it's a team like BYU who shoots a lot of threes. Now, I also will say it's really easy for these teams to hurt themselves by playing fast. If they get a little bit undisciplined and they just want to keep playing fast and all of a sudden they're taking threes, that's when we played Creighton, earlier this year. That's how this Nebraska team, who's not even in the March Madness tournament, beat Creighton. Creighton refused to slow down for whatever reason and kept taking threes just a few seconds into the shot clock, despite them shooting woeful all day long. And Nebraska would let them hurry up their offense, but when Nebraska had the ball, they would just calmly run through their sets. And at this point in time, the scouting report wasn't quite out on Nebraska, so we're having a lot more success with those half-court sets. Another story down the road, but we did beat Creighton earlier this year. But yeah, I'm unfortunately, again, that's another one of those upsets. I think BYU, as long as they don't have a cold shooting night, I think they'll be able to run away with it. But VCU, they're really good at forcing turnovers. Again, you're lying to yourself if you say, I watched every single one of these games for every single team on here. But the few things I did see with VCU, really good at forcing turnovers and just putting a lot of pressure on teams, and at the same time being able to slow it down. Any other Cinderellas? I'm kind of looking throughout the list here, and this does feel like a year where we're not necessarily going to have that, Loyola, Chicago, Iona. It feels like the one that McNeese State is kind of the only one I got, and even then, I like Clemson in that matchup.
I get.
Can Creighton make a run this year? Let me just throw Creighton that we're just talking about. They're a 9 seed, so it would be a hell of a run if they make it even to the Final Four as the 9 seed.
I think Creighton is a team people will have to watch out for. Like I said, I hate to say it because we beat them and we're not in it, which is crazy. But they're a dominant team. They can score from inside, they can score from outside, they can speed things up, they can slow things down, they can bully you. They kind of do a lot of things well. And now, unless you're just a Houston type team or a Texas A&M, to where your athleticism just kind of gets them uncomfortable, then, that might be something different.
Yeah, and they still, Kalkbrenner, he's a phenomenal player for them, and I think he's going to be able to win that matchup versus Louisville. So, this is, I don't expect them to go far, but I wouldn't be surprised if they upset Louisville. Then good luck, because you're getting Auburn or Alabama. Alabama State or St. Francis, but it's not going to be, we're going to see Auburn. So you're going to see Auburn if you win that one. Really, I think if you're on that South regional, that one's pretty bad gauntlet right there. Just because Auburn being in that, I think Auburn's one of the better teams, and has just got stacked teams with really, they look like mad records, but you might even have your 11 seed being North Carolina. Say what you will about North Carolina. They've been there before. I think that stuff carries a little bit. Now, give me the guys that, one more Cinderella team. Does Omaha have a chance? They got St. John's.
I want them to, but I think that's a bit tough for them to handle.
Yeah, that's an awful draw. I actually feel bad for Omaha. That is a brutal draw to get a Rick Pitino team fired up.
Honestly, Arkansas and Kansas, Arkansas could get Kansas, honestly.
Kansas has struggled this year tremendously. They've had some ugly losses.
I think just because Arkansas is in the SEC and the SEC is so dominant. Calipari's their first year there, 20-13. Like that's not, 1 year really not your guys, and you 20-13. That's not terrible. You're going against Kansas, who's honestly one game ahead of you. They're 21-12. So I think the style of Arkansas, how Calipari is, that could be an upset right there, honestly.
Yeah, let me just go back and remind everybody, some of these Kansas games, it's been a bad year for Kansas. They did lose to number 3 Arizona in the Big 12 tournament. They beat UCF just barely in that Big 12 tournament as well. They only won by 4 points. They got whomped by Houston. Again, Houston a good team, but then they got whomped by Texas Tech before that. They did beat Oklahoma State, Colorado pretty convincingly, but they got absolutely destroyed by BYU. That was probably one of the more embarrassing ones they've had all year, 57-91. And again, that goes back to when we're talking about that BYU game. If they shoot good luck trying to beat BYU. Their offense could be explosive. Utah, same thing. Utah, they beat Kansas 74-67. Kansas State Kansas State wins the rivalry. They beat Kansas. So it's just been at times where they look good and other times they just don't look like they belong as one of those top dogs in this tournament. So I don't got a lot of faith riding on Kansas very much at all. Just an inconsistent team who did enough to get in, but I'm not going to be expecting them to go too far. I'll give you my first team that I just feel really good about this year, and then I'll let you take the other. It kills me to say it. This does feel like the year for Duke. Cooper Flagg's insane. That whole roster is really good. And this is a year where, I kind of wonder what would happen to the program once you get that big of a seismic shift, but let me double check their record here. It's been, they're 31-3 this year. Obviously they played tough matchups. It's a down year for UNC, which helps certainly when they get those matchups. But even then, I think I had to go in overtime last time they played. But thoughts on Duke? That's kind of who I got. I'm pretty high in this one to at least make it to the Final Four. Thoughts on Duke, and then give me one of yours.
Duke is a dangerous team. I know he rolled his ankle and whatnot.
I think he'll be all right, though. I don't think it was.
I'm not sure. Are you aware of him saying he wants to go back to school? He is tripping. But Duke is a dangerous team. That they've been dominant all season long. Even without Cooper the past couple of games, they were still able to win the ACC championship. So with him on the floor, they're a different team. They're dynamic. They're scary. They got size. They don't get easily bullied. And they're kind of annoying. They're that prime Duke team that you just don't like, but they definitely are dangerous.
Yeah, no, I think the coach did say as well that they'll try to get him back for that first round. But even if they do and have Cooper Flagg and they want to be safe with it, it's a 1 versus 16 matchup. It's happened before, but the way this Duke team's playing, I would have a tough time imagining they actually have to force him to play. If they really wanted to, I'm sure they could rest him. Auburn, it just feels like such an easy one, and they're just 23 years old on it. This is the old team, one of the best records in college basketball. It's hard for me to poke anything apart from Alabama. I understand those are both 1 seeds. The 1 seed, I'll tell you that I'm probably most unsure of is Florida. I know Florida's really good, but I just like teams that have really good defense. But I guess Florida, doesn't have that 7-footer in there. Give me your shakiest 1 seed. Maybe that's a better question to ask, because obviously these guys are all going to be good.
Ooh, shakiest?
Yeah. Auburn's got the age. Duke has got Cooper Flagg if he's healthy, which it sounds like he is going to be healthy. Houston's got that incredible defense. And Florida is just red hot closing down the stretch here.
So how are they your shakiest team and they just won the SEC?
No, I said Florida is just red hot down the stretch here. I don't really know, DeMornay. That's why I'm asking you first. It might be Duke just because of Cooper Flagg if I have to walk it back.
I mean, honestly, and it's kind of shocking, I would say Auburn. For whatever reason, they've kind of taken a dive.
That's a good answer. Yeah, I said it's a good answer. They have cooled off.
They haven't been as dominant. They were red hot all season long and kind of, dried up late. I know they have age and everything like that. Pressure makes diamonds, and I'm not so sure that, they are ready for the big lights.
The age thing is only the reason why because what I've seen in past is the teams that have like those older guys that have played a lot of years of college basketball, even if they've had worse talent, even whatever that end of stretch looked like, those teams have typically done pretty well. We were talking about Kansas before. Last time Kansas made a deep run, that was an older team. Last time UCLA made a deep run, that was a much older team. Definitely not the be-all, but it does make it harder for me to decide them down. Florida is just red hot, so I might have to just like eat my words and go back and say, you know what, maybe it is Duke, just because of the whole Cooper Flagg situation. And there might be a chance he rolls his ankle and then they're really in trouble. Because I always trust defense in Houston that travels. Yeah, go ahead.
I just think, I'm looking at Auburn's side. Like I think they have one of the harder paths, I would say, coming out. Within their first little quad. I mean, you got Michigan, you got Creighton, you got Louisville, and you got A&M all in there. So, I mean, regardless, one after another, I don't think, that's going to be an easy matchup. And then the next, I mean, if you make it to, the other side of stuff, you got Ole Miss coming out of there, North Carolina, Iowa State. Like, I don't think that's, easy at all. And none of those teams, I don't think aren't really young at all either, though.
I'm gonna make this easy. I'm on Ken Pom. Ken Bob, great site. Offensive rating, defensive rating. Like it's pretty much borderline impossible. Well, I shouldn't say impossible. The stats have said it just really hasn't been done before. If you are not top 30 in offense or defense, you're probably never going to win it, or at least it's going to be one of those just anomaly years. If you are heavily favored, you got to be like flirting around that top 10 range or at least top 25. And 1 through 4 is Duke, Florida, Houston, Auburn, obviously on Ken Pom. And I might have to go with Auburn. You might actually be right because their offensive rating is really good too. But defensive rating, out of those 4 top seeds, they actually have the worst defensive rating at 12. The second worst defensive rating out of those 1 seeds is Florida. And this is all according to Ken Pom. They're giving up about 92 points per 100 possessions. That's good enough for 10th. And then Duke has the 4th best defense in the country, and Houston has the 2nd best defense in the country. And then if you really want to figure out who has the best defense, good old St. John's, number 2. So again, that just kind of spells more tough work for Omaha down the stretch there. So now that you know that, and real quick, I'll give you the offenses for those in 1 seed. So Duke, offensive rating 3, defensive rating 4. Florida, offensive rating number 1 in the country. Their defensive rating number 10. Houston, number 10, offensive rating, and number 2 in the country. And when it comes to defense, and then Auburn, number 2 on offense, and number 12 in defense. I'm going to side with you. I'm just like switching gears a lot here, but this is March Madness for you. I think you hit it right on the head with Auburn right at the very beginning.
I'm just saying, like, you got to be playing hot in March. Like you don't want to wait till the tournament to kind of get hot. You got to kind of already be here, and they haven't been that as of late. I would say the last month of basketball, I don't think they've really been, as hot as they were the whole season.
Yeah. Well, we got to throw the break here because we went a little bit along, but I'll tell you one thing I did learn. I did not realize St. John's, having the quote unquote best defense of the country, according to St. John's, that usually bodes pretty well for that squad. So this might be a year. I know they're a 2 seed, but you might even expect them if they get to a 1 seed matchup versus Florida. You might want to lead with that defense, as Rick Pitino has definitely been there before. Maybe not St. John's, but certainly him himself. All right, we'll throw it to break here. We'll talk maybe a little bit more basketball or straight up Husker football on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Dylan Punt Hour with Des Moines Pierson-El.
Do you need a urologist? At Urology Partners of Nebraska, we understand the urgency of your health. That's why we offer appointments within 48 hours. Although we're new to the community, our team brings years of experience and expertise to provide you with the best care possible. From vasectomies to kidney stones, we've got you covered for all your urology health concerns. Call 402-413-2800 today and experience the difference at Urology Partners of Nebraska.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze and an afternoon high around 80. Tonight, showers and storms turning to rain and snow. It'll be windy with a low around 31. And tomorrow, we'll see snow and blizzard conditions likely, an afternoon high of just 39. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Forget the lame excuse this year. Your boss already knows why you can't make it to work for those magical 2 days in mid-March. Join 93.7 The Ticket on Thursday and Friday at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O for March Mayhem. Come early on Thursday and get a ping pong ball with a lucky team on it. And stay all day for prizes throughout and buzzer beater upsets. It's March Mayhem with 93.7 The Ticket for the NCAA tournament at Buffalo Wings and Rings, 68th and 0.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Get ready for spring by joining an evidence-based program to improve your health and well-being. These programs use proven strategies to help you make lasting changes, whether it's boosting nutrition, increasing activity, managing stress, or enhancing wellness. Invest in yourself today and feel your best this spring and beyond. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment, Don't Punt Hour. We got the host, as always, DeMornay Pierson-El on the Allo VIP line. And switching things up, well, not really. We're going to keep it on college hoops as we have been pretty much the entire hour here. But in particular, let's focus on the teams who in the Big Ten were good enough to go ahead and make the cut for March Madness. Let's go through these Big Ten teams. And then DeMornay Pierson-El, I just want to ask you, give me the team that's got the best shot out of the Big Ten teams who did make the dance to make a run. Don't worry, it's not going to take forever. There's not nearly as many as the SEC does. As I said earlier, they got an incredible 14 teams total. 13 get a bid. Obviously, one of them gets just the conference tournament win to go ahead and get them that lock. But here's the Big Ten teams. In the South, you have number 5 Michigan, and then you have number 2 Michigan State. Over in the West, I believe you just have number 4 Maryland. And then over in the Midwest, you have number 6 Illinois and number 4 Purdue. And I believe you just got one or a couple more. Number 5 Oregon in the East and number 3 Wisconsin. So you pretty much about 2 Big Ten teams in every division. Give me the one that's got the best chance to actually make a decent run. I don't expect any of them to go and win it, but go ahead.
I think Maryland.
Okay. I don't hate it. A lot of their losses are so close and really unfortunate. Like the Michigan State one, I believe it was like a half-court buzzer beater that they just drilled it. I wouldn't be surprised if Maryland makes a good run, because if some of those games flip the other way, that's, they got the same seed as Michigan State. They're looking at a 2 or 3, not a 4 seed. Michigan State might be the other one I'd go with, just because how many more years does Tom Izzo, you think, going to coach for?
That one's hard. The whole NCAA is going to feel that when he goes.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be gone with that era with Coach K and then UNC, and there's a few more coaches, really good coaches, and obviously Bill Belichick. It just felt like he would have been part of that chapter. But yeah, I think I'm not sure if you're thinking the same way, but one more year, this might be it.
I would say at least 2, maybe.
That's some big shoes to fill. Well, hopefully he doesn't. The more Michigan State, I've never had any beef with it. Tom Izzo is actually definitely one of my favorite coaches in the league. And yeah, it's just we've lost so many good ones back to back to back. I like those guys. I think Maryland's a really good pick. Now give me the one and we'll get out of here. The one that you think is just doomed to fail, maybe even in the first round.
Doomed to fail, maybe even in the first round.
I'll go first because I know it. Illinois, they've got some woeful shooting.
I was thinking Illinois. I didn't want to see it. Because I mean, their matchup is either Texas or Xavier.
Yeah.
Yeah, the SEC ball a little different.
Well, and they just such a bad shooting team. I mean, it's truly woeful. I didn't realize they're shooting about 31% from three this year, and they take a lot of threes despite that.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. That's not good.
Not good at all.
I don't want to pick the same one as you. I'm trying to see other matchups and whatnot. Honestly, me looking at that Maryland matchup, Maryland might have a tough way because you got Memphis on the other side outside of Colorado State. That's not easy. And then I think after that, you would run into UConn, I think. Ooh.
Oh, I forgot about UCLA. They're in there as well. My bad.
Oh, UCLA.
Yeah, I was going to say.
UCLA.
I like that answer as well. All right, fantastic answer. We agree on that. Let's get out of here. This has been the Don't Punt Hour with the Morning Pierson-El. Up next, we got Caleb Verstrady, Haley Swindle, a couple of Husker Bowlers coming your way next. We'll talk to you guys again tomorrow.